All right, guys, welcome to Crime Time with Brittany and Renee.
Hi, guys.
And we just wanted to come on here again. We are talking about the Renee Freer case again. We are continuing this series until we are done interviewing everybody that needs to be interviewed and just pushing for justice on that. Before we get started on that case, we are going to talk just a couple of minutes about some stuff. We had July 4th weekend. That was interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, we had the devastation in Hill Country in Texas, and that was absolutely devastating.
So sad.
Absolutely horrible. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today with Crime Time with Brittany and Renee.
Hey, guys.
And we are going to get started with our intro real quick. Okay. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Crime Time. Tonight is a very special and deeply important episode. We are here to honor the memory of 8-year-old Renee Freer and to share with you something truly moving. A video from the recent vigil held on June 26 in Monroe, Connecticut. The vigil marked 48 long years since Renee's life was so cruelly taken. You'll see the candles, the speeches, and the people who gathered together in love and remembrance. Even after all this time, Renee is not forgotten, and tonight we're reminded why her story matters so much. After the video, we're going to recap the facts of the case for anyone who's new to Renee's story. Then we'll share what's coming up in the future episodes. We'll also talk about why it's never too late for someone to come forward, whether you have information, want to clear something up, or simply feel free to speak your truth. Renee's case has gone unsolved for 48 years, but together we believe answers are still out there. Thank you for joining us tonight. Now let's take a moment to step back in time and watch this beautiful tribute to Renee. What a beautiful church. And such a beautiful little girl. So sad.
The group is trying to find justice for Renee Freer, an 8-year-old girl who was found dead behind her house in the 1970s. News 8's Preston Stober has more on how you can help solve this mystery.
June 22nd, 1977.
I remember everything from that night. The call when she went missing and the call when she was found.
And that's Lisa.
Renee Freer.
They had passed out 8x10 photos of Renee at the vigil. I think that was amazing.
Yeah.
I really thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Police and family searched for any answers. Days to weeks, weeks to months, months to years, where efforts continue 48 years later.
We are not giving up.
They had quite a few people that showed up to this vigil. I thought that was pretty amazing.
To present-day Monroe,
you can tell there's a big group of people. The news showed up.
Asking what can be
really
done
great.
now.
Yeah.
Renee was murdered when we were only little girls.
People said
was a horrific
really
injustice
awesome
that
speeches
still hangs
while they were
heavy
there.
over our town
I think
today.
that was one of
An
Renee's best
injustice
friends when
that the
she was
Monroe
8.
Police Department
That's
is
her
looking
cousin
to
Lisa.
solve, telling us in part today, quote, "We are continuing to investigate this case, and we are conducting interviews in an effort to bring this incident to a successful conclusion. The case is very much active," end quote. The family is hoping that this vigil will inspire someone
Look
with
at all the
information
people
on the
at
killer
this
to come
vigil.
forward.
That's remarkable.
So far, they've lived their whole life.
That's her cousin,
maybe
John
had a
Wasik.
family of their own, but Renee never got that chance. Everything was taken from her. Taken from her family.
They all had on
She
shirts,
was 8
Justice for
years
Renee.
old.
I
She
think
didn't
that's
get
great.
to live a life. She
Her
didn't get
cousin
to grow
Lisa.
up, be an adult, get married. And
Both have been huge advocates in
if
this
this is
case,
what I could do to get it solved, this is what I'll do.
among
Questions
many
long
others.
without answers. A
Beautiful
family
church.
long without their Renee. In Monroe, Preston
They did a
Stover,
great job
News
of
8.
covering this for the news.
Time can break your heart. Have you begged and pleaded?
Her family and friends the strength to move on from this. Fill us all with courage and love as we continue to mourn this beautiful little girl. Amen.
Lots lots of people attended. I think that's great.
Beyond the door, there's peace, I'm sure, and I know there'll be no more tears in heaven.
20 sorority act, Bethlehem, Connecticut.
Carol Ogrins, Monroe, Connecticut.
Karen Coffey, Monroe, Connecticut. And I'm here to support.
I'm George Linebarger from New Milford, Connecticut.
If I saw you in heaven, would you be the same? If I saw you in heaven, I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven.
Remember her so clearly. We sat together every day at the same round table in the same place, third grade class. Just me and happy and surroundings. She had this beautiful, almost striking look about her.
Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here.
Hi, I'm Alice and I'm from Monroe, right here in town.
Peter Bocaro, Trumbull, Connecticut.
Heidi Asher, North Connecticut. Stacy Johnson, Shelton, Connecticut. Where you're from?
Stratford, Connecticut. It's for you, Renee. We haven't given up.
Back into the 70s, the time when we were kids, because that's what we're going to do for the next hour. We're going to listen to some music. We're going to say a few words, say a prayer.
Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little
That was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was a great job. Who ever put that together? I know one of the ladies, maybe several of the ladies that are pushing really hard for justice for Renee did that, and you did an amazing job. So congrats to you for that. So thank y'all again for joining us, and I appreciate you being here, letting us know where you're watching from. If you're watching live, just put an L in the comments. If you're watching a replay later, just put an R in the comments. Helps us to push this out, let more people see it, because of course we're always fighting for justice. We have about 9 minutes left, so we can talk a little bit about it. You know, the whole thing has just been unbelievable that this case has went on this long, but it's so commendable, these people that have dedicated their time and their lives to pushing for justice for this 8-year-old child.
Yeah.
So many of these cases just get forgotten, and I don't blame people because it's hard to keep up with stuff like that. But these people have really put a lot of effort into this, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if anybody deserves justice, I mean, everybody deserves justice. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying 48 years, it's so long to go unsolved. What do you think is something that might help this case get solved?
A confession?
Yeah, that would definitely be one thing. How can we pull a confession out of somebody? Because somebody out there knows. Somebody out there knows something.
Sit them down in a room.
Well, that'd be great. I wish we could do that. I would drive straight to Connecticut for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, golly. And it's typically people know who did it.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like they all know who did it, but you know, the person's not just going to come forward and go, yeah, you know, I'm going to go ahead and go to prison right now or whatever the case is.
Well, I feel like things like this is what lights a fire under people because they're like, oh, it's been 48 years. We've definitely forgotten.
Yeah, nobody has forgotten.
But clearly the community has not. Clearly these people have not. So,
no, nobody has forgotten. And that is such a great thing.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that keeps these cases alive. It helps to bring justice. So we're just going to keep pushing forward and hopes that the person, do you think somebody knows something that maybe didn't do it, but somebody else knows?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I think so too. I mean, and that's one of the things, you know, that you should feel an obligation, not to the person that did it, but to the person that is deceased. You should feel an obligation to Renee Freer.
Yeah.
For justice for her.
Well, hopefully the vigil makes them, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know what, like, I know it sounds crazy, but you know, when they say like, this is going to sound like it's not the part of the point, but I think it is a big like thing is like when serial killers like are killing people, you know what I mean? And then there's like that one person that got away and it's like, well, what did they say? What did they do that made them like let them go?
Right.
I think that's the same mindset is like, well, maybe this one thing makes the person like take a second look and think, oh no, like this is actually heartbreaking.
Because sometimes after, you know, at first you're probably just like, you know, oh, well, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But then after some time, as you get older, people's hearts soften and maybe people aren't as fearful as they were years ago. So I'm just wondering if, you know, the person, you know, that knows what happened can just come. You can do it anonymously.
Yeah,
too.
just do it anonymously.
Yeah.
There's a Crime Stoppers in your area.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Yeah, they have a.
You can send in a tip anonymously.
Right.
They're not going to ask for any information. Just
they
remember
can't.
that
They
they can't legally. So, I mean, if that's the pause that you're sitting on, that's, you know, where you're unable to tell the truth, then just know that you have that ability.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you may be right, Pat. They may have been threatened, so they're scared.
Yeah.
But after all this time, I think I would be like, I'm going to go ahead and go on in there, you know, because they aren't going to know who told. After all these years, stories have been tossed around and spread all over the place.
But aren't you an accessory to a crime?
Yeah.
if you don't tell
I
what
don't know how
stuff
often
you know,
people actually get
how are
arrested
people
for
not
that.
more afraid? My
I would be
anxiety would never.
I would be like, I would rather tell on you than go to prison for
You
not
can
telling.
like, I mean, obviously you guys know we're mom and daughter, and like I can never keep a secret from her because I would try to, and then I would be like, I just have to tell you. Like
I can see it on her face.
I just I
I'm
don't
like,
have the
okay, go ahead and tell
ability
me.
to keep secrets.
But some people are just narcissists
Yeah.
or just evil people.
Yeah.
And they just don't care.
Mhm.
You know?
Well, we're gonna make you care.
Yeah. We're telling you right now. We
Us
know
in the
who you are.
community.
Better come forward.
Or
No, I'm
else.
just kidding. I don't know anything. I'm
Yeah.
just an outsider, helping a platform for the people to talk about this case and keep her name out there until
Mhm.
justice is served.
Yep. I mean, that's the whole reason that we wanted to do this show.
Absolutely.
Was to talk about unsolved true crime cases and missing people in hopes that it would garner enough attention that people would come forward or people would start talking about it and we would get the ball rolling on these things and hopefully get these things solved. That was the whole premise behind
that's
this.
what we've been doing. We've been
Yeah.
talking about. We've had a lot of episodes. We've done a lot of friends of Renee Freer that was
And
friends
it's
with her when she was a
huge,
child.
the community that has come from this.
Yes.
So
it absolutely is. And like I said, they had a very good group of people that showed up to this vigil.
Yeah.
And it was very well put together. And a lot of people were there caring about Renee Freer, remembering her,
Yeah.
and just pushing for justice, letting the community know, letting the police know we're not done,
Yeah.
we're not stopping. We're going to continue talking about this case until it's solved.
Yeah. I like Alina said, what if the parents are just as screwed up as they screwed up? They helped hide it, maybe.
Yeah, that's really sad.
It would be it would make sense though, because it's kind of like, I hate to bring this up, but Joan Benet, because if it's the, whole concept is like the brother did it.
And
Well,
then
they didn't want him to
yeah.
go to jail because then all their kids would be gone.
Right. They would lose
Like,
everybody.
they would lose everybody. So in hindsight, they were like, Joe Monet's already gone. Let's
just
protect
pretend like
everything
he
I'm
didn't
saying
do
is
it.
alleged. But that actually
Yeah, he ate
kinda
something of
holds
hers
weight.
that made her upset or him upset. What was it she ate?
Pineapple.
Oh yeah, that's right. Pineapple.
That whole case is so eerie. I remember listening, not to veer off into that, because like everybody and your mother, there's 5 million videos you can go and listen to. We're talking about small true crime, but
Right.
that video was so eerie. I remember listening to a podcast and watching videos about that, and I was like, this just like does not sit right with me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a very strange case. I've, never wanted to cover it because like you said, there is so much
there is.
publicity
You
on
have
it,
enough
but-
information to go and figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we hope that every case is solved.
Yeah. Who comes to a kidnapping and says, "Oh crap, I forgot to bring my pen and paper. Let me dig in this drawer and get some pen and paper and write a stupid note."
Yeah. And then ask
whole
for
thing
the
is
exact
stupid.
amount of money that
Yeah.
his bonus was.
I need
his holiday bonus.
$1,375,043. That's stupid.
It was just wild.
It was
but
stupid. But yeah, we're going to keep talking about Renee Freer. We have about 1
Mhm.
minute left. We're going to, when we get back, we're going to, from the break, we're going to recap, discuss the case. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments.
Mhm.
We will get those out to the people that know the answers. We do have some good upcoming episodes regarding Renee Freer. So that's something great to look forward to. Some really good guests, some family members. We're hoping to get the police department to come on and talk about it. I know they can't say things that they're not supposed to say, but they could come on if anybody wants to reach out, or maybe we will.
yeah, that sounds something like you could do.
Yeah, I think we'll do that again. Well, I've talked to him once. I'll talk to him again.
That sounds like a phone call that you'll make.
I'll make it. I will definitely make it. So
Yeah,
we'll be back in about 15 seconds. And we will talk about Renee Freer again.
See you guys
See you
soon.
momentarily in the comments.
For you, a family member, or a suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Welcome back, guys. Okay, so it was really good watching the vigil.
Yeah.
I
absolutely.
think they did a great job, and I'm glad they had it, and so many people attended. So many people were able to see little Renee Freer's face on those photos that they passed out. They had people that were catching up from way back when that hadn't seen each other in many years. Some of them see each other, ever so often, but that was really good. Family was there, of course. So I think it was a really good vigil.
Good turnout.
So in case you're joining us maybe for the first time, we're talking about the Renee Freer case. Renee Freer was brutally murdered at the age of 8 on June 22nd, 1977, the day before her last day of school. She was going to play with friends and went to drop off some strawberries to a neighbor because they grew strawberries. And her mother went looking for her later, couldn't find her, and a couple hours later, she was found dead in the woods. Very sad story, 48 years unsolved. So we're talking about her case. We played a video that was put together from the ladies that put together the vigil for Renee Freer. And we are talking about just how important it is for people to I feel like you really have an obligation,
Mhm.
It's not something that you can just go, "Nah, I don't think I'm gonna say anything." You really have an obligation.
This whole
Don't you?
episode is just convincing this person.
Well, we gotta do what we gotta do here. Thank y'all for joining us, and I was gonna see, do we have any questions
There's so many
or
comments. That's crazy.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know where you're watching this from, and if you're watching it live, put a L in the comments for us. You know,
Oh, that's sweet.
what?
Elena said meeting people that knew Renee was very nice. Hearing all the stories about her, guess what? Not one was bad.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sure.
I can imagine
Yeah.
not. She sounded like an absolute precious child.
A child is bringing strawberries to the neighbor's home.
Exactly.
Is so kind.
Right.
And you don't hear about that very
No.
often,
No, you don't.
So.
And it's just an absolute tragedy.
Mhm.
So here's the thing that I want to ask. anybody out there listening that hasn't come on the podcast, if you're willing to do it, please let us know because we would love to have you on. It just helps us continue talking about her case, and you can remain anonymous. You don't have to be on video. You can just be audio only, and we will never mention your name.
Yeah.
Just talking about Renee, talking about if you were there when she was found, or you lived in the neighborhood, or you heard about it when you got back to school, whatever. Any
Yeah.
of those things are helpful. So reach out to us, reach out to anyone. We also have 2 groups. I mean, I don't personally have a group, but there's 2 groups. One we started, one that someone else started. One of them is Who Killed Renee Freer? And you can join that group and just kind of see what people are talking about, kind of just help keep the conversation going. And then the other one is Justice for Renee Freer. And that group is actually it's a what am I trying to say? Private group?
Yeah.
Yeah, private group. I thought there was a special word. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Private group. So it's anything you say is only seen in the group. People outside the group scrolling can't just see what you're saying. So that's a plus. And you can also comment anonymous. And that's a big plus.
Yeah.
If you want to say something and you're afraid, yeah. Are you more likely to say something if you know you can be anonymous?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? So that's really good.
I'll say whatever I feel if I'm anonymous.
So, and if you can't remember the name of the groups, Elena was nice and put the names of them in the comments for us. So
Thank you, Elena.
yes, absolutely. And sorry I didn't say hi to everybody. We kind of got off to a little rocky start, but we are going now. One of my biggest questions about this case, and I'm just going to, I've said it several times, but I'm going to say it again, is if you read the articles from the newspaper and the different things that is said, and I know the media doesn't always get it right. They hear something and then they put it in there and they, do it wrong. I don't blame them. I mean, I know they're on a time crunch. I get it. But one of the things that I've always heard about this is that she was moved. And there had to be something that made them know
that she was moved.
She was moved.
Yeah.
There could have been drag marks. There could have been, like, let's say there was, 100 feet away, there was blood and whatever. And then over here is where her body was. So you kind of know it happened somewhere else. They moved it, whatever. I don't know. But I just want to know why they moved her body. There had to be a reason.
Yeah.
There had to be a reason why they moved her body.
I think the most frustrating thing for me is the autopsy.
Yeah.
The botched autopsy.
Yes. Yeah, that's a big.
I just feel like that was kind of like a, Can you not hear me?
No.
I didn't think you could.
No, I can hear you, but it's not coming through for everybody. I agree with you on that, on the autopsy problem. I know that a couple other people died on that very same day, but I don't understand why it was like we have to get her in this place, and since we can't get her into the coroner's office, why couldn't they just wait till the next day?
Right.
God,
Exactly.
I don't understand that. I've always wondered why they did that, but very strange. She said to get her body farther from the murder spot. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I think, Elena. I think that they did that, but I just wanted to, it's very telling.
Yeah, I agree. Can people hear me? Now I'm worried.
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're
Good.
working now. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely my biggest thing. And the DNA on the rock, that really kind of makes me upset. Or the lack of DNA on the rock not being tested, there not being enough DNA, whatever the case may be. I think that's really frustrating.
I mean, apparently they're supposed to be working on the DNA part of it. 48 years is a long time, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. But, we had a guest on our other show, and most people that are on here know that I have another podcast that I do called True Crime Broads. And we had a guest on one time, and her name's Francine Bardot. And she created the Bardot method. And basically what it is the ability to get prints off of items that are hard to get prints off of, or basically you can't get prints off of. So that's what's remarkable about her. So I would like to maybe we could have the police on and we could talk about that.
Yeah, that would be great, because the thing is, like, we can only speculate and make assumptions because we don't have the education or the knowledge behind it. But if we were to have a police officer on here to explain the why,
Yeah.
then maybe we would be less judgmental. Because at the end of the day, we're literally just, trying to understand why all of these pieces did not come together to solve this. And that's all we can do is speculate until we understand. So,
Right. Yeah.
but it is frustrating because it feels like if only this hadn't happened, if only this, then this would be solved, But now we have to rely on a possible confession.
Yeah.
When the evidence could have.
And I mean, if we had to think about how many times people actually confess, I think that's pretty small.
Yeah.
Probably the best one that I've ever been aware of was a guy that, so they did like this DNA test, and I guess the person had never been arrested before, so it wasn't going to tell him who it was. And I don't know if they didn't have the ability to send it to someone that could do like a family tree and figure it out. It takes a while.
Yeah.
But they came up with, they did, and I don't know what the test is called, but it was like, okay, this person has red hair, they have blue eyes, they're going to be fair skinned, and they were telling all this stuff.
Like a genetics test?
The guy was like, holy crap, they just described me to a T. He turned himself in.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I thought that was pretty remarkable. I guess he figured people were going to go, oh, that's Joe over here, whatever. He was panicking, so he was like, okay, you got me. I thought that was pretty cool myself.
That is cool, actually.
It was a good story, but...
Yeah, Gary said maybe they had intended to move her further and got spooked. Yeah, that's probably true. Maybe they had thought that they had moved her, and then they were like, okay, we'll come back later. And but then at that point, it was like, oh, everyone knows now.
I wonder if they thought okay, so if I was hanging out at this spot, and this was my spot to hang out all the time, and people knew that I hung out here all the time, and this is where she was killed, I would want to move her because I would be like, oh, everybody knows I hang out there.
That's so true.
They
is this
know
spot
that's where I'm
still
at.
in the same, is there a house built on top of it, or is it still
No,
there?
I don't think so. It's just the woods.
We should have someone go take pictures.
Yeah, but how would we know?
I don't know.
Yeah, it could be a
familial
DNA test. That's hard to say.
Familial?
But yeah, it could be.
Familial?
It's familial, I think.
They had to be in a panic. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just reading the comments.
You're good.
Whatever house they ran into, they all know it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if my kids, you ran in my house and you were in a panic, I'd be like, what happened? And I wouldn't stop until I knew what happened, especially, and they had to have blood on them. There's no way they didn't have blood on them.
Yeah, 100%.
So that would be something. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not one of these people that knows all these things, but I'm thinking that it might be hard for a young person to drag a child's body. And she was tiny. I hear the story. She was small, but I just feel like that would be hard. It seems like they would need help. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember when I was that age. Of course, I'm a girl, and it's and the police tend to say it's a male person, a male youth kid.
But they're much stronger. So
and
if they were much older, then might be kind of easy.
Maybe. Yeah. Could be true.
I don't know.
Let's see. They had to be we read that already. Is there any other comments that we haven't read?
Yeah, there's quite a few. There was conversation in the top about the police either not attending the vigil or attending the vigil. I didn't quite see the specifics, but
let's
stop
see.
me whenever you see it.
Oh, you're going a little fast. I don't think I can see it.
Sorry.
Unless it's big. I mean,
No. You guys, the chat is like this big.
Yeah, it is small for us.
Y'all see just the chat underneath the video. It's like video and then it's like chat. And then it's like words. Hopefully that description was...
Elena said she would definitely be more inclined to say something if she was threatened, if she could be anonymous. So yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
100%. Okay, so Pat said, who burned the clothes? Does anybody know the answer to that question? Because I have heard the story numerous times, and I don't know who burned the clothes, but that would be kind of obvious.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah, so that's interesting about the clothes. If somebody knows, let me know. Moving her would get that much more blood on them. Exactly, George. I agree with you on that. That would be so they had to have walked in their house in a panic with blood on them.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't know what I would do. Nobody wants their kid to be in trouble, but at the same time, I'm not living with covering up you doing something wrong. Not happening because I'm going to tell you, I'm not the kind of person that can just brush it off and move on with my life. So
Yeah,
it would nag and drive me nuts.
Yeah.
I'd be like, your evilness has caused me grief and you're going down.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it
100%.
any other way. Let's see.
Gary said, "Are we sure she was dragged? Maybe she stumbled a little ways and fell. Wasn't there like proof though that she was drugged?"
I think that there had to be something for them to say
Yeah.
that she was moved. I mean, I'm just thinking that it had to be drag marks or blood or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was
Honestly,
a clear indicator that she had been moved from one
right
like point to another.
George said boy up Hattertown and he was cleared. How do you burn clothes and you're cleared? I'm confused on that one. I mean, what are the odds that somebody would be burning clothes and they had nothing to do with the murder?
It seems like corruption to me.
That's why they were burning the clothes. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think it was one of the other suspects. I could be wrong. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know about this burning clothes thing.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like I said, what are the odds that somebody burned clothes and they had nothing to do with it? How
Yeah,
did they
it
get
doesn't
cleared?
make any sense.
I would be like, I want to know what you were burning. They should have, taken some of that because there's always a chance when you're burning stuff that
Mhm.
everything doesn't burn.
There's 100% a chance.
I mean,
I
that's what
think
I'm
that people
saying.
forget that.
Yeah,
Like
it's not like always. You would have to have an
there's always
incinerator
some sort of
for it to be
evidence.
burned to a
Yeah.
there's nothing left. That's never
All these
happens.
people that like always burn bodies and there's always bones left over, remains left over.
Mhm.
Guys, just stop burning bodies.
Well, yeah,
It's not working
because
out for you.
no, it
Not that
doesn't.
don't kill anyone, but don't do that.
Yeah, you're gonna get caught, so
Yes.
don't worry about
Nothing
that.
ever fully burns.
No, it doesn't.
No.
That one story that I watched with it's a crazy story, but I won't tell the story. But a woman and a man killed her friend, and they rolled him up in a blanket and they took him to the park in
Mhm.
Austin and set his body on fire.
On a grill, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they left him on a grill. And the blanket was one of those wool blankets from the military.
Mhm.
And the person that the blanket belonged to, his
Yeah, I
name was
remember the
still
story.
visible at the end of it. And that's how they knew who the person was because he was actually a sheriff. And it was the sheriff's nephew. Unbelievable. But
It's ridiculous.
The blanket didn't even burn all the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you would have to have like an incinerator, like I'm saying, you can't just catch a body on fire and just get rid of the whole thing. It's just
No,
not going to happen.
absolutely not.
So, let's see what else they say. Right, that was what I heard too. So we do have, like I said, a lot of upcoming episodes that we're going to be doing. We're still going to keep talking about this case. We've got some more things going on. We're going to have some family on. I think there might be an episode about why am I at a loss for words? A psychic maybe somebody is going to update on what happened when a psychic covered this case.
Oh, cool. They love a psychic.
And then we have some other good episodes coming up too. And so we're looking for more episodes. Like I said, if you want to be on and you can remain anonymous, that would be great.
Mhm.
We are going to have family on that knows more of the story. Obviously, and they're going to be talking about when they got the awful call about Renee missing and then found out she was deceased, and then also clear up some misinformation, things like that. And if you are or were close to Renee and would like to be on, we would love to have you on. And then, of course, I will make that phone call or email to the police department and see if they want to come on and talk about, just they can talk about what they're doing right now. Like, what are you focusing on right now? Are you focusing on one certain thing? Are you still working on DNA? That can't hurt anything.
No.
Just to know that they're still working on this case is amazing. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
I want to hear from a current detective. Yes, I would love to do that. I'm gonna reach out and just see. I mean, I don't know why it could hurt anything. Like I said, we know they're not gonna give us personal, specific information and give away anything. That would harm the case. We would never want that. But just talking about, just a few minutes to kind of update us on where the case stands. I feel like, and I talk about this all the time, but Doug Carter from Idaho for the bridge guy, the Snapchat murders.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he got on the news and he was like talking to the crowd and he was like, "We're coming for you." I think that was very helpful in that case. I
Yeah.
really do. I think the
Yeah.
police coming out and talking and showing the public and the family and the killer and the people that know this story and are not coming forward that
Yeah.
they're not playing around. I think that's very helpful. I think it's
Yeah.
really helps in this case, and I think the police should do the same thing here.
I agree.
Asked them if they are willing to see if skin cells on that rock. Yes, and I'm going to tell them too about the Bardol method and see if they're interested in that. I believe there was an article. I don't know. Are you talking, Elena? Are you talking about on the burning clothes? That's interesting. Let's see what else. Didn't know that. I can't see anything else on there. Yes. Yeah, skin cell DNA would be great because, I mean, typically whenever something happens and there's an altercation, people are grabbing and, doing stuff, and they're going to get cells underneath their fingernails for sure. I think Norm talked about burning clothes in one of the episodes. He did. He absolutely did. If you haven't listened to that episode, there's actually two. Go start with the first one and then listen to the episode with Norm. That one's a good one.
Yeah.
And he tells his story about his brother, Jim, who was actually a detective in the case back then.
Yeah.
And he was going to write a book. Unfortunately, he passed away, but they were able to get a lot of information of what happened back then when he was covering the case. So that's a really good episode. And then there's 2 episodes. So go to part 2 and watch that one. If you haven't watched all the other ones, please go back and watch them. And we are also on Spotify. So just look up Crime Time. It just says Crime Time. And find our episodes on there, and you can listen to those, all of them. And, just let us know if there's something that you think of that's specific we can talk about. We do, like I said, have plans on other episodes, but we're always looking for more information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make sure you join our groups. Is everybody on our groups? Tell me in the comments if you are in our groups. Who Killed Renee Freer and Justice for Renee Freer. That would be interesting. I have read many people say the cops are covering it up, so it would be good for them to come on. I agree with you, for them to say, hey, we're not covering anything up. We're actually working this case.
Straight.
48 years is a long time to work a case.
Yeah,
I mean, I know there's
agree.
been a lot of detectives that have come and gone, obviously.
Right.
That's a long time. But I'm just saying it would be nice to hear from them. So we are looking forward to continue talking about this case.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very complicated, long case, but we're looking forward to this one being solved.
Yeah, 100%.
Wouldn't that be a day?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, like, I truly believe that, I mean, there's a reason that it's not considered to be a cold case. So usually if they mark it as a cold case, I mean,
Yeah,
but that's the thing. They haven't.
Yeah.
So.
Excuse me. That's a good thing.
So
it's a good thing, but we just need to know. We need to know where it stands.
Yeah.
We need to know. I mean, the public deserves to know this
Mm-hmm.
because the police and all the officials that are in each city and in each state, they work for the people. They're paid for by public tax dollars, and the people want to know, and I think they owe an explanation. I really do. I think they owe an explanation of where does this case stand? Where are we?
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank y'all so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening.
We appreciate y'all listening. We want to
Yes.
continue talking about her case, talking about how important it is to come forward,
Mhm.
talking about the ability to, and reading the articles. If you go into groups, if you go to photos, there's all the articles. Go read all
Mhm.
the articles and then tell us your questions. Let's discuss it. Let's discuss this case because together everyone achieves more.
Mhm.
You know, doing it alone is not easy, but discussing it really helps you brainstorm, come up with ideas, come up with, people to talk to. I mean, that's how you do this. You got to keep it going. You got to keep us talking about it. I appreciate everybody that is here, Gary, Elena, George, everybody that has joined listening. And there's some people's names that I missed. I didn't see them.
There's so many people.
Yeah, there's a ton
We
of people
appreciate you.
watching. Yeah.
And we appreciate you listening because, I think I have to say, like, sometimes I think people listen to cases because they think they're interesting, but this is someone's life that was lost. And it's really important that, we're not over here like with the crazy fun music and all this stuff, but we're speaking about a case that's been unsolved for 48 years. And we appreciate everybody sharing and continuing to talk about it in hopes that this is solved,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like-
We're just doing our little part in helping to get justice. And
But it
I
is
truly
really
hope,
cool that we did this and garnered this community.
Yeah.
And that was the whole goal.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
pretty neat.
My dream would be if it gets solved, we take a trip to Connecticut, we
Love
meet
that.
everybody and
Yes.
just celebrate together. Thank you, George, for being here. Thank you, Elena.
We're
Thank you,
manifesting that.
Pat. Thank you, George. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think I said
absolutely.
George twice. Sorry. Thank you, all of you ladies, for being here.
Thank you, George,
for caring
twice.
about Renee Freer. Yeah, right. Thank you,
We
George.
really
Thank
appreciate
George.
you guys taking the time out to listen to us.
Yeah.
Obviously attending the vigil. It seems like it was beautiful.
Very successful.
Yeah, very successful. We truly hope that, it just continues to garner more attention and hopefully
all your shares really help a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Comments help too. And then next Tuesday, we'll be talking about it again. We're going to have family members on. They're
Yes.
going to be recapping what happened so many years ago and
Mhm.
talking about maybe setting the record straight on some things, that kind of thing. So that's
Yeah.
going to be a great episode. Don't miss it.
And we'll keep you posted if she gets a hold of that police officer.
Yes, and I will do that too.
I will not be doing that, but
He said, sign me up too. Let's get it solved and we'll celebrate and see.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Matt. Yes, and you're in Texas. We can,
carpool.
we'll see who gets there. We'll see who gets it right. We'll see who gets
We
there first.
carpool. Yes.
Yeah, we'll
Justice for
carpool
Renee.
today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's great. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep commenting, keep sharing, and let's keep this thing going because the more
Mhm.
people that we have talking about it, that one person's going to see it, and we're hoping that they
Yep.
will have a conscience.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember,
Right.
you can, confess anonymously.
Absolutely. We're here for you.
Yeah. Thank you
My
guys
messenger
so much.
is available all the time.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally